Hello, welcome back to another Oklahoma Academy interview. I'm Christian Jagish and I'm here with...
Keila Valenzuela.
Has anybody ever said... Wait, how do you say your last name again?
Valenzuela.
Valenzuela. Has anybody ever said Venezuela? I'm just curious.
Everybody.
Because when I first saw it, I was like, when I first saw it, that's what I thought it was. So yes, we are here, and why don't you go ahead and tell us what you do?
Well, I'm a teacher, and I'm the director of a school in Belize that its name is MOVE. It's a missionary training center.
Okay. So what's kind of some of your background and how you decided to go and start the school MOVE?
Well, I'm Mexican, and I always wanted to be a teacher. I like working more with kids than adults, but God has shown me that there's a lot of work to do among young people and adults, so I accepted that call. So when I finished university, I went as a missionary to Bolivia in the jungle, and a few years after I was there, I received an invitation to start a missionary training center in Central America, and that's how MOVE started.
Okay. Were there any challenges that you faced along the way working towards that goal?
Yes, there were many challenges, some financial challenges when you start a project. Those are some of the questions, where the money is going to come from. Also the volunteers, we're working with volunteers, so we needed teachers that could work without a payment, and that was a challenge. And also another challenge was that I was only 26, and most of the people that came to work with us the first year were older than me. So to become a director for a new project whose leaders are older than 26, and me being the director, that was a big challenge for me. And in fact, sometimes I wonder and I ask God, like, is it real? You know, did you call me? And many times I was thinking maybe that I shouldn't be the director, but every time God showed me that He had a plan for me, and in a very humble way, I tried to grow, and I tried to be the best leader I could be. And so those were some challenges, and God fixed them all up and made it happen.
That's very good to hear. So one thing that you mentioned during the week of prayer meetings was that you kind of had this struggle with depression for a while. What was that like?
Yes, so it is really easy to believe lies. You know, we live in a society that tells you a lot of lies, and even for Christians, it's really hard to understand what is true and what is wrong, what is just a lie. And so as young people, sometimes we believe the things that are being said around us. And I feel like many of the depression issues and cases that I've seen and that I experienced, well, it's because of lies, you know, people telling you things like you are what you are because of all the things people have done to you, and like nobody likes you because you're not like this, or you comparing to others thinking that that is the way to go. So all these things are not real and they're not true. But when we believe it, then we start living in a world that it's really miserable and sad. And so depression happens, and it happens to a lot of people. It's something that's very common. So for me, it was just that, you know, starting to believe lies and then not being able to see the light, to see the truth, and to see God in all my circumstances.
Yeah. So do you have any advice for anybody who might be going through that experience of depression? I think you summed it up very well, of believing in lies. Is there any way that young people especially can kind of get around those lies and not fall into the same trap?
Sure. So number one is to be real. You know, instead of looking at all your circumstances on your own perspective, the only real world is the perspective of God. So if you come to see your situation with the eyes of God, then you will see the reality. For example, it is a trap to think that because somebody else treated you wrong or abused you or did something to you, that now you are who they decide you have to be. It's a lie, because we are what God says we are. So if we come to God and He says, you are precious, I love you, I die for you, I have a plan for you, I will turn all those pains into something beautiful. If you believe that, then you can see that there's hope. And if you start trusting in Him, and He will heal you. So I think that the way to go out and the way that I went out was to start being real, real in the eyes of God. And that will take you on a journey. It's not a one-day thing. It's not something that from morning to evening it will happen. But God will start healing if you start asking Him to tell you the truth and to not depend on others. The Bible says you will know the truth and the truth will set you free. So believe it. You can decide. You don't have to depend on others. You can make that decision. And I will just give that advice to anyone who's struggling with depression. Get real. Come to God and keep on moving, because you decide what to do with your life. It is what God is, a gift from God, free will.
Yeah, wow, that's very powerful. We have some students from Oklahoma Academy down in Belize from the Mission Track program, and I'm sure some of our viewers would like to know kind of what they're doing right now and what their mission experience with MOVE looks like.
Well, the Oklahoma students, they've already seen a lot of theory, and they have already practiced a few things in the mission area. But Belize, it's a test. It's like their final test. They can actually show that all that theory, all that learning, they can actually put it into practice in a real scenario for missionary work. And it's like a guided experience. Because when you go straight to the mission work, the mission field, you have to manage to just do it, and sometimes there's no people around to supervise you, to help you, to help you overcome all the challenges that come with being new in the mission field. There's nobody to help you. In fact, you're not the focus. When you go straight to mission field, you're there to serve, to give, to help. And it's like a transition that's kind of hard for some people. Imagine being a student, everything is like made around you, and then suddenly you go somewhere else and it's like totally different. You're just there to fulfill somebody else's expectation in something. So sometimes it's hard. So right now at MOVE, what's happening is we have a lot of real scenarios where the Oklahoma students can actually put into practice everything they learn here and test themselves, So they're already participating in communities that only speak Spanish, and they can show whether they're good at relating with others. They have to live with people in their houses that are from different countries, and they're eating food that other people prepare, and that is really hard. So all these situations that they are exposed to are real scenarios, but guided. You have people with experience that will help you to overcome the fear, to overcome the uncomfortable situations. So from here, in 6 weeks, they're going out and they're like now being totally independent on their experience. So now they're independent, but they still have some help. So it's like kind of like a transition, but with being already a missionary, because they're already doing Bible studies, preaching, leading groups, leading children activities, doing mechanics, doing education. They're already serving, but it's more like this guided experience where they can grow more and feel more comfortable when they get to the place.
Yeah, so it sounds like there's maybe like a good balance of theory and a practical side.
Yeah, in fact, it's only 1 hour of classes a day.
Oh, okay, that's nice.
And the rest is mostly practice. I mean, they have also, on top of the mission class, they also have the mechanics and health and education classes and some survival classes. But the truth is that it's only 1 hour of like sitting in a classroom scenario. It's mostly 1 hour.
But they all learn some mechanic skills. That's interesting.
Yes. Yeah, well, not all of them. They can choose mechanics, health, education, and construction. They can choose one. Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. You typically don't think of like missionary mechanics, but I guess
we have lots of machines in mission field, and then when they break and you have to pay someone to fix it and wait for a week, 2 weeks for it to be fixed, and sometimes they don't even fix it right, or they steal from you. So having mechanics is one of the biggest needs that we have in the mission field right now.
Yeah, that's true. I could definitely see that a lot with a lot of aviation these days too. How's their Spanish coming along? I'm just curious because I took 3 years of Spanish from here in Oklahoma Academy. So.
Well, Annalisa took French,
Mhm.
so she's not actually using it, and she's not trying much Spanish yet. She's kind of afraid. Ethan is not wanting to talk much either, but he understands a lot. I've talked to him a few times in only Spanish, and he understands almost everything. But I think he's afraid of practicing. And Miriam, she's already teaching Sabbath school and stuff, so she's using her Spanish. She still can talk in English because the kids know a little bit of English, but she's coming out of her comfort zone and using it more. Yeah.
Yeah, that's very good. It's probably something I should do too because I have kind of the same issue with my Spanish. Is not wanting to talk so much. It's
and you spend she spends approximately like 10 hours in the village, and so she has to.
So just shifting more to the spiritual aspect of the missions, kind of away from all of the theory and practical side. How has your faith helped you cope with different situations in the mission field?
Well, it's really easy to focus in yourself. Either you're doing it good or bad. Sometimes you can get proud of yourself because you're doing it good, and sometimes you get really, really depressed because you're doing it bad. But having faith in the call, that God called you to do something, and having faith in that He is strong enough to sustain you, to teach you, to grow you, can help you to stop thinking about yourself and think about God's purpose for your life, God's call for your life. And so either it's good, when it's good, praise God, and when it's bad, help me God, So the faith, having faith in God helps all these other things to be in place and to be able to grow and to be able to be a better person.
Mm-hmm. So what lessons have you learned from kind of navigating some of the challenges that have helped you be a better leader?
Well, lots of lessons. I can say that to depend completely on God has been one. When you don't have a solution, when you don't have the skills, when you feel like this is too big for me to do it, and though those are the challenges, most of the time it's too big, most of the time it's too difficult. But I have learned that if it's God's work, He is responsible for it. And to come to Him and to wait on Him and to know when He's saying no and when He's saying yes. Because sometimes we want to do things and there are challenges, and there's challenges only because He's saying no. That's not what I want for you. That's not. And so depending on Him, waiting on Him, it has been hard, even for money, in money situations. Sometimes we want to do this amazing thing and there's no money. And so we need to ask Him, God, is this something that you want us to do? And if you want us to do, please can you provide the money? And if it's not from you, can you tell us no so we can move on and do other things? So, depending on God in every difficult situation helps you to be at peace. Like if He opens the door, it's His plan. And if He closes the door, there's other things to do. So difficult things are not bad. It's actually every obstacle, every difficulty can be an opportunity to grow or an opportunity to know God's will for your life. So I have learned in every difficulty to put it in God's hand and wait on His answer or His provision.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything else that you want to share with the viewers that you think would be good for them to know?
Well, I will say that no matter what we do, we should serve God. Mm-hmm. And no matter what comes out by serving God, always give glory to Him with what you do. Because sometimes we're trying to think on our own reputation. We're trying to make results happen. We want to tell people, see, this is my statistics. Mm-hmm. These are the results. We're great. We're good. We're doing the right thing. And we forget that we're just being called to be co-workers with God, and the results are from Him, and all the statistics are from Him. And if sometimes here on earth we won't see the results 100%, but I will say try everything you feel like you can do for God. Try and depend on Him, and never get satisfied with a lower standard. If you really want to serve God, do it with all your might. Never get into this. A lot of people say, like, I am a teacher, so I'm only gonna teach, for example. And no, that's not true. And I will say it's a lie that you think that you are knowledge. You are not knowledge. If you know about mechanics, great. You are not mechanics. You are a missionary. If you know about health, you are not health. When we say, I'm a teacher, I'm a doctor, we're trying to put ourselves in this box. But the truth is that God created human beings with lots of skills, a multifaceted, or I don't know how you call it, a person is what he needs. That you can clean the bathrooms, you can work in the kitchen, you can actually put effort in agriculture, and yes, you can fly planes, you can do a Bible study. Anything that you can learn will make you who you are, but you are not only what you know. You are more than that. And I just encourage everyone, whatever you know, put it in God's service. And
So as you can see, there are incredible things going on throughout the world, both at Move, at Oklahoma Academy, and many other places where people are choosing to go for a higher standard in service for God. If you're somebody who is interested in joining the mission and getting in contact with Move in Belize or Oklahoma Academy, then you can just go to Facebook and find Move, or you can also go to oklahomaacademy.org and find more information. Contact us through our email, and we can send you more information concerning Move or Oklahoma Academy. But just remember that in a world where everybody is constantly settling for less, we are settling for more, for as much as we can do for God. Just remember, always be a worker for the harvest. Thanks for watching another Oklahoma Academy interview. All right, hey guys, thank you for watching another Oklahoma Academy video. Just remember, hit that subscribe button and that like button. That really helps us with our ministry here. And until next time, be a worker for the harvest.